What's crack-a-lackin', YouTube fam? How we doing? How we doing? Yo, yo. We are live. Good to go. Ran some scans, read through the chat logs. So ready to burn through a list and get out of here. So, I think elephant in the room, DJT, obviously. This thing's getting wild. Steady lows all day. Man, last 2 days, look at that. No higher lows in sight. Obviously, the play was a swing. Kyle Williams, he had a nice trade on that one for a swing trade yesterday. He held his 40 average and was covering down today. Luke, what's going on? Q, what's going on? So DJT and fun. Just wild unwinds. VSTE clipped me a bit today. I was joining this opening range highs with risk on lows, and it slammed through the lows and halted down, so I got slipped by basically 30 cents, which wasn't too nice. Risking 20 cents and then get slipped by 30 cents, so doubled the loss. But it is what it is. Shorted DJT today, nice. I saw your Palantir trade, I sure did. Well, I barely saw your Palantir trade. There wasn't much there to see. Are we cooking a Costco turkey tonight? What? Oh, you're funny, Luke. You're funny. What was the word you had typed wrong again? I forget what it was. You'll remember. Seems like Q and I trade pretty similar. Convection, that's right. Finally caught you on live. What's up, Jenica? Fumbled Palantir, can't nail them all. Yeah, I think Q and I trade pretty similar. Seem like we're watching a lot of the same names. Before I show this next chart, remember what I said yesterday about long on dips and being a bit more patient to the long side? Ah, man. Nailed it. This little push through the 1820s was the daily breakout. We got a push through it, pull back and held, higher low to the 1820s. I joined versus VWAP in 1820s as a guide. And we got this one little stuff candle right through the high of day on a bit of an increased volume, and I sold the next pop. Reacted to a 1 minute candle instead of respecting risk and letting the trend work. So, botched that one. What else do we got here? VSTE, Speeple, super small starter, just illiquid, but joining in case it had that squeeze potential. But after fading off so far now, looking for a backside bounce, has respected red to green rather nicely on its run up and fade for that matter. So ideally a nice gap down and then join it for a red to green move. Bonsai in pre. Huh. No idea what to do with that. Yo, somewhat on time today. How's it going, Golan? Got a good group in here. I like the enthusiasm. Foxo, this thing was wild. Basically retraced its entire move today. Elwis, I like this one. Short on pops today. Nice little pull into close. The close was right around here in the 660s. So it's gapping down in after hours, but 660 close, so it hasn't gone red yet. After hours took a crazy plunge. and that would be kind of that reward range, like a sub 450 wash. So I'm going to be looking for pops towards 740 as a guide. If we get a gap down, I'll be looking for pops back towards red to green, and then join that trend for a fade back to the low to mid fours. Q traded Tesla the exact same way I traded IONQ. Probably right through here. You get that weak open, consolidate, ABCD, re-breakout here through the 289s. Do you have any short-term swing ideas on large caps? I mean, IONQ, if I was still in there, that's a swing trade. It's a big picture breakout through 1820s. Don't hate that idea. Off of weak opens, I think get absorbed. XPEV, I believe, was another breakout set up today through this 1370s. These Chinese names, Billy, Futu, Baba, Baidu, starting to curl out of their recent lows and consolidation. LX, the small cap one, I like the best with the nicest daily, breaking out of that wedge and starting some gearing action. So these China names look like they're shaping up. So if you're looking at large cap China, it's a possibility. So yeah, Elwis, I like pops on that one. DXYZ, you can see all of the volume coming out up here into the 24 to 25 range. So if this can either slight gap up and go red, slight gap down and shove back up into 24s, I will be looking for a first red day on this one. The 4 EMA is sitting right in the mid 17s. If this wants to go higher, I mean, have at it. But I'm going to be looking for a short trade. Nothing I would long at this point. The daily is extended here from 11 up to 28. SOUN, starting to get interested. Coming up into prior resistance, this 750 is a big key level. So if I could get a gap up and parabolic into 750, I'd be really interested in that for a failed follow through setup. Given this flush out into the close, likely shook out a bunch of longs and kept shorts in there for after hours. So I think a slight gap up favors a squeeze for the final blowout that I can react to. And given that it's now starting to run from 5 to 7 today, ideally get a 750 blowout and then look for a pullback. Frey, I typically like these on increased volume as it goes higher. But this has gone from 1 to 240 now. Outlier volume and outlier range given the prior price action on the daily chart. And this one likes to gap and grind and gap and grind. Hasn't broken its opening range lows in the last 2 days, so that will be a key trend shift for me. Aiden has been holding, maybe multi-day breakout. Says Chris B. Let's take a look, see if I like it. 1 day failed spiker. Doesn't have a terrible intradaily look. I don't like that it gapped up so far and just fizzled out. But that VWAP being right there in the 350s. Excuse me. I could see the merit in it. I don't think it's anything I really want to play. It is kind of shaping up as a liquidity trap, but like if you zoom like over here, where you get this big fail and it kind of starts to curl and just ends up fizzling out. And then you get it right here, gap up, you get a little curl and just fizzles out. So I typically don't like to trade day ones that fail, but if you make a plan and follow that plan, I don't see a problem with trading it. Could see the merit to the setup, but nothing I'm looking to put money at risk for. VC for a backside bounce, says Timmy. MEC. Not really. It looks like it kind of already did. Yeah, this is one of those that you basically got to buy that. Like you got to buy that 130 trigger and risk low a day. Possibly swing for a trade back up into the 170s, but it's trading 100K in volume. Just nothing I'm interested in. What I'm going to trade, like 500 shares? It's not going to do anything for me. I think Lunar has a space sector, increased interest in Elon and Trump. Might be a runner too, going for possibly. Yeah, Lunar's got a nice little daily chart. When you're looking for large cap setups, I think this one's like mid to large cap. I don't hate this idea. It just has overhead back here. My face is in the way. You can't see the volume. Or maybe I just zoom out. There you go. It's got overhead with some increased volume. So it's not really clear skies. If it was back over 13 and doing something like this, I'd be a lot more interested. But with the resistance being so close by, I'm not going to trade this breakout, but I will set price alerts if it wants to try that one after some multiple days of consolidation. TMQ, I think that was a large cap. Oh, no, it's not. I was thinking of a different name. Let me see. One day runner. Just looking at why it was up. So we got that big volume day. Volume starting to dry up. Let's see where shorts are in from day one. So we had a little weak open, parabolic and round trip. Most of the volumes traded up here, 1+ it looks like. Yep. This one's tough because it was just kind of a one and done move. It didn't really have legs to work people in and work people out. Trilogy Metals. Is this I didn't see this ticker for some reason. I don't know. Basic Materials, Industrial Metals, Canada. I don't know if I can trade that. If it's listed in Canada. Sometimes Centerpoint has some issues with me trading names that are duly listed in Canada and the US. But we'll see. Trilogy Metals. Trying to see what this thing is. Engages in development and exploration of mineral properties. The firm holds interest in upper Kobuk minerals projects that include the Arctic, a copper, zinc, lead, gold, silver, bornite, carbonate, copper projects in Northwest Alaska. Company was founded in 2011 and headquartered in Vancouver, Canada. Nice. So, what would my plan be on something like this? I don't hate the look of it. I do like the week open, consolidate, and reclaim, starting to build over $1. I think this is a lower odds play, given that it doesn't have like multiple legs in the front side. I don't think there's a whole lot of shorts trapped per se. You've got this and the 110s. So I think my trigger would probably be a prior day's high break and just try and trust a low a day risk and just accept that it's more of a 50-50 trade. So I'd try and get just a good risk reward with the 50-50 win rate. But I don't hate the idea. I just don't really see it going crazy. But I think it's like VSTE was the most recent one that worked really well. And if you look at like this, if you look at how it's set up, you've got this leg, a pull, a squeeze out, and then a weak close. Keep shorts in there. Think that they've lasted through the final squeeze. It goes sideways. VWAP right here in the 220s. So you've got like multiple legs to keep shorts in there. A weak close. Lots of volume kind of churning. And then you get a little increase in pickup here the next day before that final squeeze out. So you'd have to see something like that. Like this one doesn't really have multiple legs. It's got the strong close on the day one, bouncing back into prior resistance. So I definitely need to see 110 start to build to like that one. Vancouver pumps, yeah. Those things are everywhere. Is Frey something you would trade? Yes. I went over my plan on that. Were you not listening, Q? Were you not listening? I'll give you a fresh one. Yes, I can repeat myself. Again, Q. Again. Typically, I like increased volume on the daily. It's gone from 1 to 240, so that's enough range. And it hasn't broken its opening range lows the last 2 days, so that would be a trigger for me. Opening range lows and a break red. Ideally, it goes higher, but I'm prepared to lean on that thing short. So, but yeah, I will add TMQ to the watch, Frey, soon, DXYZ, Elwes, and Speeple. Speeple, backside bounce, Elwes, first red day, DXYZ, first red day, soon, gap up, parabolic, failed fall through momentum, Frey, prepared for either, opening range lows or a gap up parabolic, and TMQ, possible T+1 liquidity trap. Once I can find a setup and categorize them, I have no problem taking losses on them because they are time-tested setups that over time produce profits. So as long as I can name them, make a plan on them, then we're good to go. So that's all I got for today. Anything else you guys want to touch on? Otherwise, I will hop off. VSTE for another chance asks Golan. I was kind of up in the air on it. This has now become so illiquid. So yesterday, traded 2.6 million, and its close was 311. VWAP in the 3.5 range. So that meets my dollar volume threshold. Today only traded 1.5 million and has a 2.5 close. So 1.5 million times 2.5 is $3.7 million dollar volume. I think. So that doesn't meet my dollar volume requirement. And typically, when the volume starts getting this low, they just fizzle out. I think after that flush out and capitulation day, we had that little shove into 470s, which possibly could have bagged some longs. And then today, with the opening range break, typically is a trigger, especially after that washout, holds green, and you got to shove 470, and then it does this move. So I given the dollar volume not meeting my requirement, I think I'm just going to take the disciplined route. If it bounces, it bounces. But unless this thing is churning like 500K by market open and I can start seeing some palpable volume increase. But if it's doing the same kind of illiquid chop tomorrow, I'm not going to look to pick a bottom. Basket of Trump stocks in my long term? None of them. Let me see. Let me grab my phone. I'll see what's in my long-term account. It's definitely no Trump stuff. So I've got Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce, Verizon, General Motors, Apple, and the S&P 500. And I am about 99.5% invested. I don't have too much cash sitting there. What's your plan on Foxo tomorrow? I don't really have a plan on this tomorrow. It round tripped, basically gave back its whole move. I don't think so. This thing is down 50% today. Look at this daily chart. The gap down being so far from 80 cents down to 40 cents just got smoked. There could be merit to a backside bounce on it. But given that it's pulled back 50%, but it hasn't like ground down or trended down. Like the whole move was just in the gap. So I don't love it for a backside bounce. I would much prefer to short a parabolic back up into 60 cents than try to buy it for a bounce. Are you planning on buying some big caps now that everyone seems to be bullish on the market? No, that's backwards, Chris. When everyone's bullish, you want to be selling. I just sold. I owned a bunch of silver Canadian Leaf coins, some 99% silver. I had bought them back in 2017, 2018. And with all this euphoria going into the gold and silver market and markets at all-time highs and everything, I sold them. I think I kept 5 just because they looked cool, but I sold them all. I was looking to sell some longer-term stuff into it. I'm not looking to buy when everyone else is bullish. If I got a bit of cash there to deploy, but I'm not going to buy when markets are at all-time highs. But if I can get some sort of capitulation, like a day like this, maybe get like a multi-day, multi-week rollover, and then start to accumulate again. But I'm not looking to sell anything. I'm going to hold that stuff for a while. But I'm definitely not buying right now. What is this thesis on banks long-term? Well, my thesis on them was something like Bank of America. I bought them all during the banking crisis back in March when everyone was fearful of all the banks going out of business, when the regionals were halting and stuff. You saw stuff like Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Citigroup, bunch of stuff start tanking. So I'm long Bank of America from like a 28 average. It was just into that fear. Buy when others are fearful, sell when others are greedy. and it pays. Let me see here. Pays me a 26-cent dividend every quarter, 4 times a year, 26 cents a share. Damn, that's gangster. Just listen to the old Warren Buffett. I read the Intelligent Investor book, and that was basically what it was. Buy good businesses for undervalued prices when other people are fearful. If someone showed up and offered you less for the same business tomorrow, would you sell it just because they're willing to pay you less? No. So when everybody was willing to pay less for Bank of America, when everything was going out of business, did I think Bank of America was going to go out under? Nope. So I figured it was pretty safe. Same thing with, what other banks did I say I owned? Canadian Imperial Bank. What's the ticker on that one? We call it CIBC. CM. I bought it in the same time on this pullback. I have like a 42 average. So that one's working out pretty well. Back in here. Goldman Sachs. Same kind of thing. Pullback in March. Everybody's afraid of it going out of business. Own it from down here. And it's up there. Apple. I've owned this one for quite a while. Now my longer term account is rocking. It's doing incredible. I bought, I think I have a 140 average, 140, 130, somewhere around here. I'd have to look again. Apple. Oh, it's 150 now. I guess I added to it. I have a 150 average, 151. But when we had this sort of bear market, when nothing was going up, Apple was overvalued. And basically for stuff to catch up to their value, they either need price or time to catch up to it. So it either needed to pull back and get back to a reasonable PE ratio, or it needed to consolidate for some time and let inflation catch up to its current valuations. So when this went sideways from 2021 to 2023 for 2 years, I was just accumulating throughout there. S&P, I own this one down in the 400s. Same kind of thing. We had this 2-year pullback, so I was buying. So I took Intel at lows and Nike at lows. Isn't Nike at the lows? Doesn't it? Yeah, it keeps hitting lows. Are you talking like 2020? I don't know. Nike is at the lows, like multi-year lows. In 2018, I was going to start buying NVIDIA or Apple. I went with Apple. Bad call. If only we had a crystal ball. 2018, what was it at? Oh my God, $6? Jeez. That's insane. That breakout idea was working. I never took it. But you buy that trigger, it never went lower. How are you going to position yourself going into the new year, 2025? In terms of investments, I'm going to keep holding. Yeah, NVIDIA, it had a forward split, but I'm looking at where it was now to where it was then. Like $6 to $150. That's insane. Starting in July, bought at 73. Oh, okay. Gotcha. But to position in the new year, I'm not looking to sell any long-term stuff. I'm going to hold that. I'm young enough that if we do go into a recession or a multi-year pullback or anything, I can withstand the storm. Everything's paid cash, no leverage. So it's just unrealized gains or losses. So I will weather the storm and just continue to add to positions next year. Max out my tax-free accounts next year and start buying some more. Day trading wise, look to improve on stuff like patience, exit targets. I'm trying to work on exit criteria on a lot of trades instead of just locking into strength. Using some of Lance's ideas with trailing stops. Not like trailing percentage wise, but like using a prior bar low exit or something like that. Or actually waiting for resistance or waiting for support for a cover or resistance for sells. So for next year, I'm working on it right now and hopefully get better at it for next year. To try and get better on the sell side of things or the exit side of things. I'm looking to swing the bat harder on some A plus opportunities, stuff like DJT with the sell the news, looking to swing the bat harder on these and not swing so hard on something like VSTE, where this is like an A grade, maybe B plus with the volume. Speeple, same kind of thing, more like a B plus given the volume. But like something like DXYZ, like this is like an A grade setup. If this were to go another day, this is an A plus. Like I should be putting risk behind those. So trying to skew my bet sizing. Those are a few things I'm working on. Because it's, I think it would take a ramp in the P&L curve. Instead of just, it being a casual 2 to 3 hour trade, just like any other single like day-to-day moves. If I could get like a, risk 5R, risk 10R on like an A plus trade that should work 90% of the time, and then get a 20, 30R trade out of it, and let that start to carry me through the day-to-day until the next A plus comes and start to size into those. Do you typically take full profits or tier out? I almost never sell in one piece. I'm almost always selling in chunks. Almost always. Helps with patience to hold a piece. Alrighty, I think we'll wrap it up there. Good questions, guys. I appreciate the chat. I had lots of fun. But yeah, I will not be back here tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, but I will be back on Sunday for the Monday prep. So trading well tomorrow, last day of the week. Long weekend, but the markets are open on Monday. But I believe I will likely be trading all day. Remembrance Day up here in Canada. Alrighty, thank you guys. Have a good weekend. Stay safe. Get in where you fit in. Make some memories. And I'll see you guys in the room. Peace.